Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to my second video. I have just jumped out of the shower, I've got wet hair, I've got not a spot of makeup on my face, completely fresh face as you can probably tell by all the redness. I thought it would be a really good opportunity to film my take on an everyday glam sort of tutorial video. So I thought I'd run you through what I do on a sort of a daily basis with my makeup routine, but with a bit of an extra glam to it. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Oh no, I better time your hair up, hang on a minute. So I actually use two primers. I use the AOA Studio Wonder Skin Poreless Primer first, and then on the spots where my pores really show up, and then on all my red spots and just any uneven skin that I have, I use my W7 Prime Magic Camera Ready. It's got a green tinge to it, so that's that helps with redness and whatnot. So let's jump in with the primer. I'm going to be looking over here a lot because this is where my mirror is, so don't mind me. So I'm going to just put this around all my troublesome areas where my pores and my fine lines like to show up a lot, which is across my forehead here where my my raised eyebrow lines are, and underneath my eyes, and as well as the apples of my cheeks. And then I'm going to take my W7 Prime Magic and I'll put that over the rest of my face. And while we're letting that settle down a little bit and just set into the skin, I'll tell you a little bit about what some of the products that we're going to use today. So the main product that we're going to use for eyes is going to be the Sephora Vintage Filter Palette, which is available at Sephora and online. I picked this up, I think it was about $45 or something along those lines, and it's a really gorgeous palette. The colours are really pigmented. You've got quite a range of colours, but they're also quite in a way muted because they're not as power in your face as most palettes would be, and I think that that's because it is the vintage filter effect. But it does give you a really nice colour range, and it has a really nice finish to it. You've got some shimmers, some mattes, and like your lights here, which I use all over the lid, and then you've got some really shimmery shades here. And I will tell you the names of the shades as I use them. So it's been a minute and my primer is all kind of settled down now. It's kind of tacky to the touch, which is what it should be, which will make it grab the foundation. But because it's winter at the moment, I'm going to use just a touch of this W7 BB Magic cream, which just kind of gives my skin a little bit of an extra boost and takes away some of that redness. So something that I've really been loving at the moment is doing my brows and my eye makeup first so that my foundation doesn't actually crease while I'm working on that. So I'm going to go ahead with my OXX Beauty eyebrow pencil that's double-ended. It's also got the spoolie on the end of it, and I got it from Kmart. I think it was $2. Pretty sure it was $2, and it's actually a really good pencil. I wish that the shade was a little bit darker, but beggars can't be choosers. And it doesn't really matter if you're a bit rough with it, because after this I like to conceal around my actual eyebrow area and just clean up any mistakes that I make. And then I'm just going to take the spoolie end of the pencil and just fluff that out. Now I plucked my eyebrows way too thin when I was much younger, so they're nowhere near as full as I wish that they were, but luckily we have eyebrow pencils. Yep, so I'm pretty happy with those. Next I'm going to take my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind in Light Pale Concealer. I really like this because it has the fluffy top and that's really easy to apply. So I'm just going to apply that underneath my eyes. So I look like a bit of a raccoon. Then I'm going to take a beauty blender and spray some setting spray. I currently have the Kat Von D Locket setting spray, which was a birthday present. Normally I wouldn't have this. Normally I'd have the Models Prefer one, which is available at Priceline. But lucky me, I have this one. And this beauty blender I got from Shop Me Save for $1.38 or $1 American. And it's actually really good. I prefer it over the Kmart ones, so I use it every day. And we're just going to blend out the concealer that we placed under our eyes and over our eyebrows. This is a really, really good concealer. It really covers up dark circles, and I find that it doesn't crease anywhere near as bad as some of the cheaper ones. I actually got these on sale at Chemist Warehouse. They had a 50% off sale a couple weeks ago, and I just went ham. I just went in. I went in and I spent up a fortune, because it's not every day that they have a 50% off sale. So I thought, why not treat yourself? Treat yourself. Okay, that's all nicely blended out now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab my e.l.f. concealer, which is a maximum coverage concealer. I think this is in the lightest shade. It doesn't actually have a sticker on it. So I'm just going to take a dab of that on the back of my hand. And then I'm going to use my index finger and just pat that on like so. So for some unknown reason, my camera decided to stop recording. So I have just been talking to myself for the last 5 minutes. So I'll just explain what I have done so far with this. What I did was I took this shade here in our Sephora Vintage Effect Filter palette. And this shade is called Secret Boudoir. And it's just the lightest shade out of the palette, and I've placed that all over my lid and all over right up to my brow bone. And then I grabbed this colour here, which is called Cookie Crunch, this brown here, which is actually a really versatile shade. It can be used wet or dry, and if you use it wet, it's more pigmented. However, if you use it while it's dry, it's actually just a really, really good transition shade that you can just pop into the crease. And then once we finish that, what we're going to do is we're going to grab a different brush. And we're going to grab this brush here, which has got a bit of a pencil tip to it, which also came in the set of the purple brushes that I'm using. And I'm going to grab a darker colour. I'm going to grab this colour here, which is called Rustic. I don't know why there's a hyphen between the IC and the rust, but it's called Rustic. And it's a really nice sort of shimmery, purpley burgundy colour, and we're going to grab a little bit of that onto our brush, not too much though, because it is quite a pigmented colour. We're just going to tap tap, and then what you want to do is you want to place it in the outer corner here and work your way towards the middle, but don't go all the way, because we're going to keep this look really simple and not dark. So you want to kind of make a triangle out of this. So if you kind of create a triangle starting from this part of your crease, and you work your way down into the lower corner, into the outer corner, and then bring it back in, you kind of get this U or V shape going on. So once that's placed, grab the brush that you were using before that we put down the crease colour, and then we're just going to blend that out. We're just going to do the same on the other side. So once we've filled in that crease and blended out that V that we've just created, what I want to do now is I'm going to take this darker brown shade here, which is called Coffee Break, and I'm just going to very, very lightly, with the same pencil shaped brush that we used just before, I'm going to put that in my outer corner just to get a little bit more depth, not as far as we put the burgundy colour, but I just want a little bit more depth into my crease. And then we're going to grab the same fluffy brush and we're just going to blend that out. So you can see through here, I've got the dark brown and then I've also got that burgundy shade. What I want to do is I want to go back over with that burgundy shade because I'm not happy with the way that the brown has overtaken it and I want more of that burgundy effect. So I'm just going to grab a bit more. I'm going to grab a bit more on my brush and I'm just going to pop it in the crease like so, but focusing on that crease. So now you can see that it's a line. I'll just do the same to the other side. But then once we've done that, we're going to blend that, but we're going to use a different brush. We're going to use a different brush to blend this so that we don't get more of that brown. So I'm going to take another fluffy brush. This is an angled fluffy brush and I'm just going to blend that. What we're going to do now is there's this colour in here which I absolutely love. It's called It's Vintage and it's this colour here. It's a really pretty sparkly, almost like a dusty rose gold. It's a bit darker than a normal rose gold, but it's really beautiful and it looks lovely on the lid. So we're going to take a flat brush for this job. I'm going to spray it with a bit of setting spray just to wet the brush a little bit so that it picks up more product and it lays it down a little bit nicer. And we're going to put that all over the lid. And then we're going to grab this fluffy brush that we used before for our crease and our outer corner, and we're just going to blend out very, very softly, very light touches on the outer corner, just to make that lid colour and the outer corner kind of ombre a little bit nicer. And we're going to leave our under eyes until we've finished our foundation and concealer routine because otherwise we're just going to wipe it away. And the only other thing that I want to do is I want to grab another flat brush. We're going to keep this one dry and I want to take just a tiny bit of Memory Lane, which is this big one here, and we're just going to put that right under our brow. And I'm also going to put just a touch in the inner corner, just to widen our eyes. Inner corner highlighting is actually a really kind of good trick to know, especially if you're like me and you have a bit more of a closed eye. It's really good to just take a little bit of a shimmery sort of shade, which is like the one that we've got here, this Memory Lane that we're using at the moment, and just pat it on the corner, on your inner corner. It really makes a world of difference. Do we see how that just kind of brings it all together and it just makes it pop? I really like the way that this is looking at the moment. So once again, I just want to take this fluffy brush that we used before and Secret Boudoir, which is the light colour that we started off with, once again, tap off the excess and just blend out our lower brow bone so it doesn't look messy. Right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off the rest of my makeup routine, which I'll go through with you, and then we will put some eyeliner and some mascara and some lippy, and then we'll be done. So at the moment I'm really loving Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation. They used to just have the Fit Me range, but now they've brought out Matte and Poreless, and it's actually a really nice foundation. I'm really enjoying it. So I'm going to take a little bit of that on the back of my hand and go back in with my beauty blender from before, and then blend. Blend and just keep blending. Blend until your arm falls off. I'm just going to go back over that concealer that we put underneath our eyes before with a bit of foundation smooth it over. I have really creasy under eyes, so I like to put a few layers on just to make sure, and then I'll set it with setting powder just to make sure that nothing really shifts throughout the day. I do sometimes have to do some touch-ups, but I've got it down pretty pat now, so. Great. So once that's blended out all nicely, we're going to go back in with our concealer. I'm going to take my Age Rewind concealer again, and I'm just going to pop a tiny bit underneath our eyes because we did put some on before and I don't want to overload my skin with product, otherwise that's how we do get cracks and breaks and creases and horrible look. So we're just going to go back in gently underneath just to kind of cover up any other circles and marks that we might have, and then pop a bit into anywhere that you get creases. So I get smile lines with my foundation, and if I don't set it with setting powder and concealer, it looks horrible within an hour. So we've done that. Re-wet our sponge, and then we're going to buff that out. Then once we finish that, we're going to take our setting powder, and the one that I have is the OXX Cosmetics Finishing Powder, which I picked up from Kmart. I think it was about $4, $3.75 to be exact, I think. And it is translucent, so it doesn't have a colour to it. And we're just going to... It came with this little pad. I don't usually use these, but it's actually a really good tool to use for when you're setting under your eyes and any other areas on your face, especially with this product, because it just grabs it really nicely, and I find that it pats it into the skin really easily. I also like to bake my smile lines and my forehead creases just because they are probably the most problematic areas for me when it comes to makeup throughout the day. So I'm just gonna... I got a lot on my nose. That's gonna make me sneeze. Now many of you says to put your setting powder in from the outside in. God knows why, but who am I to argue with him? And apparently it works, so I like to do that. So while we wait for all that to bake down, I'm going to do my contour just here and on the top of my forehead, and then afterwards we'll take all of our setting powder off and we'll put some blush on. So I have this contour palette from Makeover Essentials. It's a contour kit. Inside it's got 3 contouring shades and 3 highlighting shades. I don't tend to lean towards these purely because I don't find that they actually work really well for me, but if they work for you then great. But these contouring shades are really good for me, especially this one here, this more cool tone brown. So I just like to grab a small fluffy brush for this one. Some people like to line it out first. I just like to go in. So take a bit. Yeah. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this shade here and I'm going to buff that into my forehead. Now I have my big fluffy brush at the ready because we're going to take this setting powder off now. We're going to take that off and then we'll put some blush on afterwards. So sweeping outwards, right off, just brush off the excess. Nice. So next I'm going to be using a blush from 5th Avenue, which is available at Kmart as well. It's a baked blush. This is the Marbled Baked Blush. And it looks a little something like this. It's really pretty. It's quite similar to the Milani blushes. And I think Hourglass have brought some out as well. So it's a really good dupe for that. And it's really pigmented. I have to be so careful when I put it on. So I'm going to take one of my metallic fluffy brushes that I got in a set from eBay. And I'm going to lightly go in with this blush. And just on the apples of my cheeks, just focusing on this area because we don't want to take it over here and get our contour looking a little bit kind of jumbled up with blush. So focusing on our apples of our cheeks, just blending out. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to put a bit of eyeliner on, a bit of mascara, and then we will move on to our lips. So I'm not going to do a winged look today. I have a sample sample size eyeliner from Sephora, which is the Marc Jacobs, I feel very expensive saying this, the Marc Jacobs eyeliner. It's in black, so I think that's literally just what it's called. It's called black. So I like to underline my eyes. So once we've underlined our eyes, I don't really like to take my eyeliner out that way, especially when I'm using a pencil, because I find that it's nowhere near as sharp as using a liquid. And because we're not doing a wing today, I'm just going to leave it as it is and put a little bit on my waterline, on my lower lash line. Now my favourite trend at the moment is grabbing a white pencil and putting that on the inner corner of our lower lash line. So the mascara that I've been absolutely obsessing over lately is the Absolute Lashes, which, don't freak out, because it's definitely not their real mascara by Benefit, but it looks like it, looks exactly like it. Same shaped bottle and the same shaped bubbled end, so that you can get into those lashes that are hard to grab. So this is by the brand W7, which I talk a lot about on my channel. I think it was everything by W7, especially if you get it from Chemist Warehouse, is $4.99, so everything's $5 basically, all of their stuff. You can add 2 layers if you like. Sometimes I do, especially if I'm going to be out of the house longer. It just kind of, it brings more volume and it makes your lashes look a little bit longer. But today I'm just going to do 1 coat, just because I don't want it to be too intense. And once again, I will not be doing lashes because this video is meant to be taken seriously and not as a joke. So let's move on to a bit of lipstick I'm feeling. I think we'll go for this one today, and this is in the shade Midi. So first of all, I'm going to line my lips with a nude lip liner, and then we're going to take our liquid lip and apply. How do you think we're looking? Okay. What's lacking? Highlight. You called it. So I'm a bit naughty and I ordered a fake Anastasia Beverly Hills Moonchild palette off eBay because I simply cannot afford the real one, as much as I wish that I could. And I wish that I could play with the real one. I can't. So I got this one for $6 off eBay because eBay fakes are not regulated and they're not checked for quality assurance. So sometimes they can have things in them that aren't really good for your skin, that can be dangerous if it gets in your eyes, it can be dangerous if you inhale it. It's just, it really depends, and it's really at your own risk. I do not recommend it if you are a very sort of sensitive person to chemicals and things like that. Like this has a very strange smell to it. I don't know what it is, but it smells like washing detergent, but there's something in it that makes it smell like washing detergent. But I use it because I'm broke and I like it. So I'm going to go in with Pink Heart, or the eBay knockoff version of Pink Heart, and we're just going to highlight our cheekbones. And then I like to take a little bit on my finger and just rub it on top of my cupid's bow. Now I'm going to go do some hair, and I will be right back. So I've dried my hair, I've gone a little bit more natural. I just blow away from my front, and then the rest is all just kind of crazy because I'm really trying not to put too much heat treatment into my hair these days, otherwise it just turns really horrible. So this is the final look. I'm actually really happy with this. I'm really happy with the way that my eyeshadow turned out and the way that my highlight just kind of pops up my face. It's really nice. And then the nude lips are really nice too. So I'm definitely going to revisit this look eventually and probably use it. Actually, no, I'll probably use it on a bit more of a regular basis. So I am really happy with this, and I really hope that you guys get a really good sort of sense of how to out of this video, and it'd be really great to see your recreations of it as well. So yeah, down below in the comments, just let me know what you think of this look, and if there's any videos in particular that you would like me to do. Don't forget to subscribe, give this video a like or a thumbs up. Click the little notification bell next to the subscribe button so that you know when I've uploaded a video, and follow me on Instagram. And yeah, I hope to see you around for some more videos, and I can't wait to keep creating for you guys. So thank you so much. Mwah.